Program initiated.
Well, here we are. I am a minute late. I do apologize. Yeah, I was making dinner and, well, it's jambalaya and it's ready when it's ready. So a little bit longer than I expected. Sorry about that. Of course, there's probably nobody here, so I guess it really doesn't matter so much. Let me just pull up my chat doc. And no, there's nobody here, which is fine. There's something to be said, about streaming to no one, because eventually it does get watched. I look at my throughput on these things, and it does get watched eventually. So that's all cool. So I guess we'll start off as we start off. So first things first, as I always say, if you are new here, you just have, this has just been brought up to you because it sort of popped up on your feed saying, hey, this has gone live. If you are new here, I really appreciate a sub if you could, because subs are let me know that I'm doing what I'm doing right. So yeah, so that'd be awesome. So I wanted to talk today about, well, I love getting comments on old videos. Now, I've been doing this. I'm into year 4. I started this channel in January 13th of 2020. So yeah, 2 months before the pandemic started. And, well, that was cool. I, learned a lot in the first year, especially because of the pandemic. And I've said this before in other things I've talked about where I started to stretch my muscles as I was doing this, because it was, I had to keep my Rotary Club at the time, had to keep things rolling because I was secretary. So what I'm talking about comment-wise is I've got a library of about 525 videos, because I started out doing weekly, and then I did 2 a week, and then I settled in quickly into 3 a week, and I've been doing that for probably the last 2.5 years. So I have a big library, and recently, I'm guessing what's going on, because, I'm over 500 videos now, I'm guessing I'm getting sort of recommended by YouTube a little more often now. People are coming in, seeing my old videos and just commenting right off the bat. So we start something with like this. This is something from about a year ago. This is when I was talking about my update to Touch Portal. This is just shoo. Oh my God, this is the coolest. So this is where I talked about the Touch Portal upgrade. I talked about, talked about this, which was an update to the Touch Portal. I'm trying to get the light out of here. So it gave you LCAR's stuff. And someone just found it and said, hey, man, that is cool. So that's what I use here to control my stream. I have a Stream Deck, which I can use as well, but I like using this because it gives me everything. It's easy to modify. It's much easier to modify for me to do this as I'm, plugging through, because I can just go in the Touch Portal app on the computer and I just find it a little more intuitive than using the Stream Deck to do it. I probably will use the Stream Deck more moving forward, but it just works really well for me right now to do that. I'm just playing around here. So there was that comment, and I thought, right on. That means someone saw this video from, I think it's like a year ago, found it, whether they're searching for Touch Portal, they're searching for LCARs, whatever they're searching for, they found it. And you know what? I find a lot of things on YouTube, and I enjoy that. But for them to leave a comment, that's awesome. It doesn't really, it takes almost nothing to do, but a lot of people just don't do it. They don't, they go, I'm going to tell you all about this. And the fact they're reaching out and doing that, it warms me cockles, as they say. It makes me feel really good that, the things I'm doing are getting out there. People are seeing it. So, and then, other comments. This one came up recently as well. This is from my build from, again, this is about a year ago. And just Mr. Trek was like, I got to ask you, how'd you do that dusting? This is, in the tricorder. I'm thinking, I have it right here. So this is the tricorder. He was asking about how I got that speckled finish. There's the glory shot there. How I got that speckled finish. He just wanted to know how I was able to do that. So I let him know. I do it this way. And he was like, oh my God, that's perfect. I was thinking about doing it with a fan, and now that you've told me that's what you did, that's just awesome. So it's like I made this series, the tricorder build series. I made that on building the tricorder for Delta Vega props because I thought it would be a cool series to go through step by step by step by step. And again, someone's looking at it a year later and they're commenting. I think that's amazing. Another comment was, this is 2.5 years ago. This is in my first year of doing this. When I first started doing these videos, I thought, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? Now I'm using my Freeform app to write down what I want to talk about. I've got, weeks worth of stuff laid out. Well, not actually laid out, but just here's ideas for, Mondays is prop projects and 3D printing, and Wednesdays is videos and TV, and Fridays are free for all, and then also stream content, stream ideas. But he just found my LCARS app video, and he just said, I have to change my shorts. How have I not ever heard of this? And it's funny because I just found this for my Surface. I just hunting around looking for things to put on my Surface, and I found that and went, oh, this is awesome. I have to put this on my Surface and play with it. And because I said, I have to tell the internet about this. And that became a video. And that is one that is really, that's taken off. I'm just going to hide this here so my head sort of hides some of this here. Yeah, and that's cool. And that is funny because that's one of the videos that I have that still, to this day, like I look at my analytics, I look at them daily, see what's going on. So like I'm this close to 1,300 subs. And it's funny because it goes up and it goes down. It goes up. Like a week ago, I was at 1294, 1292, 1291, 1292, 1293, 1291. So now I'm at 1294 again. So it's funny. And I hear about this from other, creators on YouTube. I go, well, hey, my numbers are all over the place. I know it was Call Me Chato. And he said, yeah, I had this many and I just lost 5,000. I don't know how I lost 5,000. I don't know what the algorithm's doing. It's weird. But anyway, that was something from 2 years ago. And just the fact that that came out, as I say, just to take the time and go, hey man, this is awesome. Thank you. It's warming. This one was, this one I really like too. This was from what was this? About a week ago. This I did 2 weeks ago, just because I was talking to my friend Mike about here's how you have to present yourself on YouTube, because he was getting started and he was very, just and talking into stuff. And it's like, dude, you got to be like, I'm not even doing as much as I could be right now. You've got to be more animated. You've got to present yourself more to this. And he was just saying, this is a great idea. It's a good video. And I've been thinking about doing a YouTube channel myself about things. And that's really a good step in the right direction. So, that's much more recent, but great to to hear the feedback from it. Just to say, yeah, I didn't think about that. Thank you. Yes, you want to be like, how bad would this stream be if this is all I did? Just talk to a microphone. You've got to bring something. You've got to bring some animation to it, and pop up a tricorder. Hey. Oh, my Omni. But you've got to do that. So that's just something I've seen for, as I've been doing this for, the last 3 years. Just, you've got to present yourself, because what you're doing on these things is you're selling yourself. You're selling the experience of like, hi, I'm Dave. I talk about these things. Want to come on the journey with me? So you need to give people something to see. You need to give them something, a little more animated, something that, they're going to look at and go, oh, right on, right on. And then this is another one that just came in recently. This is on my Gridfinity. This is one that I didn't expect. Like my biggest video, my most watched video is my Anycubic Viper review. That's at 18,000 plus, like maybe 18,500 views. Because the company who sent it to me said, because I did a couple reviews already, and they said, what had I done at that point? I had done my printer. I had done the Mono SE. I had done one other printer, and they said, here's the Anycubic Viper. Can you take a look at it? And I gave it a good review. I think it was about a 15-minute review, all said. And it's used a lot, to the point where I'm getting probably in 28-day cycle, I'm getting about 500 to 600 views of that, or 100 and some odd views every week on that particular one. And yeah, I thought that would take off because that was something, the company was using it. The company who, not Anycubic, but the company who sent me the printer, the local reseller, was using a lot in their materials. We've parted ways recently. I haven't talked to them in a year. My main contact has sort of moved on to other things. He actually hired me to do a video for a product they had on Amazon, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we've parted ways. I think they're their own in-house guys now who do it. So, well, that's fine. That was a good relationship when it lasted. But like I say, that I expected to take off. I didn't expect the L cars to take off. That is at about, I'd have to look, but I think it's about 12,000 views. Or maybe 9,000. It's at a lot of views. And I have a number of comments when it first came out saying, hey, how much, like, what do you want for it? When are you going to make it available for the iPad? And I have to keep telling them, it's not my app. I didn't write it. It's just something I found I want to talk about. I even spoke to the manufacturer. I said, are you seeing an uptick? And he said, yeah, a little bit over the last 6 months. I made a video 6 months ago on this. Oh, that'd be why we're selling more then. Oh, hey, thanks, man. So there's that. So I didn't ever expect this Gridfinity to take off like it did. This was just something I found, and this is, I did a video on it, and it's right in here, my Gridfinity storage stuff. So that fits in the grid system. And I did that just because, well, I need a video to talk about it. And I thought, I'm going to talk about this Gridfinity system because I'm working on it and it's pretty cool and I like it. It's 200, 300 views a week. To the point, if you go in and you do a search for Gridfinity, it's like the 4th video that comes up. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I would expect the fact, that Zach, the guy who made it, gets, millions, well, maybe not millions, but thousands of views on it because he created it. And other people make. I'm just talking about, hey, someone made a cool thing and I printed it. What do you think? And this is like, what's he talking about? Thanks for sharing. And that little connector part, that's awesome thing. It's a little connector I found to connect them together. That was a little bit better than what the original designer of this particular base plate of Gridfinity. And someone said, oh, dude, this is awesome. And it's just, like I say, these things, they boggle my mind sometimes. And it's like, hey, thank you for this. Really appreciate it. Like, I'm just a guy talking about stuff. So, yeah. So I guess the main takeaway is if you decide to do this, like do what I'm doing, and go out there and make a channel and come up with things. And I got lots of irons in the fire. In fact, in the point now where I'm just there, I'm in my basement. This is where my main area is. So just on the other side of that wall there, which you can't see, is my storage room. My storage room I converted into a studio. So I've got green screen and I've got 7 lights. I'm well lit. Well, you see my other videos, like even the one I did this morning about the Archer, that was all in the studio. So I can do that quite easily. This is at my workspace. So I've got right here to set aside, I've got my Rodecaster, and I've got my on-air sign and my Riptide, and then I've got my Star-Lord helmet and guns. So this is sort of more of a show-off place, and this is also my workstation. I've got my Mac Studio and everything here. But I'm adding in another workbench in there. I've got all these things at the office, and I think it's time to bring them home for several reasons. I'm not going to go into all of them, but I think it just makes more sense to have the printer farm here so I have more control over it because I'm only in the office 8 hours a day, whereas I'm here for the rest. So I'm working on getting to that point of having it all here. So that means I have more ideas of things I'm going to print and things I'm going to design because I do have that controller. It's just outside here. My friend Mike sent me. So I'm going to, get that mocked up. He actually just got me the STL files. So, not perfect. I'd rather have the Fusion files, but I'll take an STL. I can always convert that into an editable STL or editable Fusion file. A few more steps, but I can still do it. But I have more plans to do more cool things. And it's just the fact that people are going through my entire library, which is awesome. I'm seeing views on things, even old things from, the beginning of this journey, not my first couple because they suck something hard, but they're going through my old things and say, hey, this is cool. This is cool. I'm even getting comments like on the first tricorder I built before I even built the Delta Vega Props one. I got involved with Delta Vega Props because I made a tricorder off a body I found on Thingiverse, which turned out to be made by Dino, who's part of the group at Delta Vega. Got to know him quite well through our interactions with that. But I just built it for fun, and I was just plugging away at it. And Jerry was like, Jerry from GM Props is a friend, and he said, I've got boards that fit that. I'll send you some. And we've sort of gone down that journey now. So I've built, what have I built so far? 3 tricorders, maybe 4. 3, I guess. 3? Lots. So I've been doing that, and that just became something instructional. And as I go through some of the build steps, people are like, dude, I never thought of that. Oh, cool. I never thought of that. Cool. Even my video on resin smoothing, someone's like, that makes perfect sense. Why did I never think of that? Awesome. Let's do this. So as I said, the fact that someone spends the time to comment on something, it's really appreciated. I commented just something the other day. I watched Michael Farrer Jr. He has some really great tutorials on OBS, things like that. And he was talking about, here's OBS versus Prism versus something else. Hey, what do you guys think? And I just sort of chimed in. As a Mac user, all I get is OBS. And very quickly, I got a heart on that, and then I got it very true. So, I think, like anyone who does this, getting that feedback of, hey, here's my comment on that. Because everything we do these days on the internet is so passive. Other than, getting on Facebook and just sort of posting whatever you want and Twitter and all these things. But to go on YouTube and to comment on something is great. And the fact that it's a 2-year-old video that you're commenting on, even better. I love it. So I guess that's the takeaway for this little stream here. I'm just trying to get into the habit of doing the streams. And I've sort of determined that, I'm going to be streaming to nobody. And that's fine, because I know that it's going to get watched down the road, because what's going to happen is in 8 hours, it's going to be on YouTube. People log in, hey, DCPFX was live. Here's what they talked about. And I'll get views that way, which is cool. Some of the earlier ones I did, some of the earlier streams I did like the first one where I talked about a little bit of everything. And then the second one where I talked about Moon Knight and things like that. Those are, still getting great hits on it. So I guess that's just my stream. I just wanted to say, I appreciate anyone giving me feedback. If you're going to tell me something, someone also too, a few people have chimed in. In one of my videos, I talked about, there's 2 of them, and they've gone on their way to comment on, you talk too much, get to the point, which is a fair thing. One was about the filament runout resume feature on the CR10 Smart, because it actually works. And someone said, the English was very broken, so I really didn't quite understand exactly what he was saying, but he's like, just get to the point. Well, I'm trying to make these entertaining, so I'm not going to go, hey, it works, bye. You're going to add more things in. You're going to say more things about it. And I take that constructively as well. The fact that someone went out of their way to say, you know what, you talk too much, I'll take it with a grain of salt, because most people go, yeah, your videos at 10 minutes, 8 minutes are very informative. Don't go changing. So even someone said, I don't like your transition in this one video. It's very hard on my eyes. So, and I just got a comment. Oh, this is too funny. How perfect is that? It's got a comment on the LCARS app. Someone needs to update this app and connect it to as much home devices as possible. That would be awesome. That just, how opportune is that? That is so funny. That is, Gatus a lot. Lotasac. Okay. That is, Santiago Sactillo. So he's taking his name and put it backwards. I'm just kidding. It looks like Santiago. That is so funny. That's, the timing of that is so perfect. That's hilarious. And again, that is from June of 2020. Or June or July of 2020, and a comment on it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Santiago. I really, really appreciate it. If you catch this later, that would be, +1. So as you see, when am I reading this, and I got a smile on my face. I love it. I love it. The comments on these things. And just to be fair, in regards to this, I am working on an LCARS app. I am working on one now. I've spent the last 2 years learning Xcode. I'm a Mac programmer now. I'm an Apple developer. I've made a couple apps for myself. I have a recipe app and I have like a Yelp app, and I actually made an app out of my build tutorials on the tricorder, which basically was, here are the 7 videos on how to build the tricorder, and I basically just linked to the YouTube videos. I put it in the App Store, and they went, no, it doesn't really add any functionality, so no. Still works for me, but I can't do that. So my concern is that I go and do this, I make an L-Cars app, and they're going to go, nope, that's an IP that you can't use. Although there are things like Captain's Log and other things that did get by. So we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that comes up. But I am working on it. So I am working on one that's going to work on your iDevices. So maybe work on the Mac as well. But I am working on it to make it work with an iPhone and an iPad. Much like I might be able to get away with it depending on the name, because there's an app that's still available on the App Store called Quadcorder, which basically is an iPhone tricorder. I've done a video on that in the past. I can pull it up here if I can find it quickly without wasting your time. So I did a video in this already. If you are looking for it, just look for Quadcorder, and everything is clickable. Here, I'll get it here. It's a cool little app. I love using it when I get customers that get very, very worked up when their machines come in, and I just pull that out and go, oh, good, I got a nerd that's working on this. So there's a science scan. So this is still available in the App Store, so I'm sure that I will be able to get mine by, I'm not going to call it L-Cars. I'm not going to call it even a PAD, P-A-D-D. I'll call it something. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Maybe I'll use my initials, so DCPFX. So it'll be a digital computer programmed functional examiner or something. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I need to design it first. So the fact that I have the wherewithal now, because, well, I made that app allowed me to go through my YouTube videos. I know how to make a navigation view, and I know how to link to different pages. It's a matter of then pulling up the design. I have some Photoshop actions that give you all the L-Car swoops and whatnot, like in the Touch Portal upgrade, so I can make those and then populate the whole thing with that and go from there. So I have some ideas. I'm so busy with everything else between running my business and doing these streams and doing all my videos and then all the props I'm doing and stuff. I have a lot on the go. I'm also, as I said in some other videos, I'm writing a book on 3D printing. So I have a lot going on. Programming has fallen by the wayside, and it really shouldn't have fallen by the wayside. So I'm going to finish that up. I'm going to get going on that and start making a frameworks. I'm going to start with iPad and then I'll move it down. I have an iPad Pro 12 and I'm using an iPad Pro 11 here, so I can work on both of those, make sure they work, because those are the pretty common sizes. So this sort of went all over the place. That excellent email from Santiago was fantastic. So this was a great way to wrap it up. So at this point, I just want to say to all of you out there who are taking the time to look through my catalog and then commenting on it, thank you. Bottom of my heart, thank you very much. I wish, as I'm saying now, I'm saying to people, hey, if you like what you're seeing, a super thanks would be awesome. I would love to give you a super thanks for what you're doing. All you guys who are spending the extra time and doing that, I really appreciate that. So I'm going to wrap this up. That is the stream for this week. I really do love getting comments from old videos. And when I put this up, I really do enjoy it when people do that. So, hey, thanks guys. So this is me signing off. We'll talk to you all next week, and I'll see you guys on YouTube, because that's where I am apparently a lot.